up on WRAL TV News, severe weather is rumbling across our state, already causing damage.
A manhunt in Johnston County after lawmen were fired on early this morning. We'll have the latest.
State lawmakers could make our drunk driving laws even tougher.
And people stand in line to see the Oliver North trial finally get underway. WRAL TV News at noon is next.
WRAL-TV, Raleigh, Durham, Fayetteville. From WRAL-TV, John Hudson, Denise Boyer, Greg Fischel, and Ray Wilkinson, with North Carolina's leading news team. WRAL-TV News at noon.
Good afternoon. Severe weather is charging through the state at this hour. You're seeing a part of Wake County at this hour. Officials in Moore County say they've had severe damage in that area. There is also a report of damage in Fayetteville.
A tornado warning was in effect for most of the morning in Lee, Chatham, and Moore counties, and now high winds are beginning to head into the Triangle area. Greg Fischel has been tracking this severe weather and joins us with the latest. Greg?
Okay, Denise, the good news for the Raleigh area is that the line of severe thunderstorms has passed and is now racing eastward out of Wake County. This entire area is under a tornado watch until 4 this afternoon. Now, many times, once the initial line of thunderstorms moves through, the threat of severe weather diminishes behind that line. However, this air mass is so moist and unstable that additional thunderstorms could form later this afternoon and this evening, and we'll keep an eye on that. But what we're concerned about now is the immediate future, and that we can say clearly is getting better for the Triangle area. Let's go to the radar to show you where the line is right now. It's only the area from this line east that we're worried about over the next hour or so. The line extends from near Clinton up to just east of Smithfield. It is out of Wake County now, so if you haven't had problems in Wake County, you won't, at least for the next few hours. It extends up through Franklin County and then up around Warrenton. From that point east is where the greatest chance of severe weather will be over the course of the next hour or so. The only tornado warning right now in effect is in Johnston County, and again, that would only be for the extreme eastern third of the county as the line has already moved eastward to that location. We'll have additional details coming up during our normal weather segment, and back to you, Denise and John.
Let me ask you quickly, Greg, at this time, I know these folks know their backyards better than we do as far as flooding. Is that a possibility?
We'll have to watch out for that because, again, this air mass is loaded and there will be additional locally heavy rains. Even if we don't get any more severe thunderstorms, we could get some very decent rain amounts over the course of the next 12 to 18 hours. So do be aware of that possibility. But at this point, no flash flood watches or warnings are in effect for anywhere in North Carolina.
Great. Thanks, Greg.
That's encouraging. Well, the first report of a tornado, of course, came this morning, and it was in Moore County. And right now we have Michael Brown, who is in the Eagle Springs area, where they have several reports of damage being done there. And Michael, bring us up to date. What do you see from your vantage point?
What I'm looking at right now, Denise, is about 3 trees have been damaged quite a bit, and they were located in the areas with sort of like an open field, as though it was a cornfield of sorts. The initial reports is that there's been 1 injury here in the Eagle Springs area, and I'm told that hasn't been very serious. The people that I spoke with after just getting out of the car and exploring the scene tell us that the high winds and the clouds provided some type of warning for them because they realized that something was on the way, but they couldn't quite put their finger on what was taking place. Right now, I guess a lot of people here are just breathing a collective sigh of relief right now, and that the situation wasn't as bad as it was.
I think a lot of people are just grateful that it is over, at least in that area, and hopefully it won't get any worse. Thank you so much, Michael.
Okay.
And, of course, folks are worried about power outages. We're going to check out in a moment. But first, Greg has got even more information about new warnings.
All right.
Okay, another warning, John and Denise. This one for Nash and Wilson counties. This is a tornado warning, and it's being issued, prompted on the information that we got out of Benson a few minutes ago. That thunderstorm produced property damage and tree damage in Johnston County and was moving to the northeast at 50. Now, if we go to the radar, we're basically watching this area right in here. That cell, as it moves to the east and northeast into Nash and Wilson counties, is the one that could produce severe thunderstorms and perhaps even tornadoes in your area. This warning goes until 1 o'clock. And nothing much has changed since the last couple of minutes that we talked to you. But again, a tornado warning in effect for Nash and Wilson counties until 1 o'clock this afternoon based on this activity that has already caused damage near Benson is moving toward the east and northeast. John and Denise?
All right. Thank you for that update.
Always with, the strong winds, the high winds, we have a problem with power outages. We're going to check in with CP&L. We have Roger Hanna on the phone with us. Roger, any problems with power outages yet?
So far, we've been very fortunate. We don't know of any major outages in the immediate Wake County area. There are some scattered outages around a few customers here and there, and A couple of reminders to people: if you do experience a power loss, please let our local office know, because we don't always know about those if they're individual customers or small numbers of customers. And I guess the second reminder for people is, if there is a down power line, please stay away and let us know, or let other authorities know, and don't try to do anything yourself.
All right, Roger Hanna from CP&L, thank you very much. Good tips that could save your lives and keep the power on for some folks. A search has been on in Johnston County for one of two men who shot at sheriff's deputies early this morning. Deputies with tracking dogs, assisted by helicopters, including Sky 5, searched an area near the intersection of 70A and 301. The shooting started with the deputy who spotted the car with stolen tags. When the officer stopped the car, two men inside opened fire. One of the men is hospitalized for an apparent cocaine overdose. The second is still on the run. So far, there are no reports of injuries to lawmen.
And, of course, we do want to bring you the latest, so we're going to go back to Greg Fischel right now, who says we have a new update. Greg?
Okay, they're coming out fast and furious here, Denise. This is a tornado warning for Wayne County, which would include the Goldsboro area. Let's go to the radar and show you a view of that right now. Now, this is not based on any actual damage report. This is based on the fact that radar is indicating a suspicious pattern in this line of thunderstorms here, and it's heading eastward very quickly. That's what has prompted the issuance of the tornado warning for Wayne County until 1 this afternoon. Now, again, just a few minutes ago, a tornado warning was issued for Nash and Wilson counties based on a thunderstorm that had produced damage near Benson. So at this moment, the greatest threat of severe weather and damage to property and life is in this area from Nash to Wilson and down to Wayne counties as that line of thunderstorms heads eastward. Back to you.
All right, thank you. And even, you know, with the watches and the warnings, we've always told folks the best way to save their life many times is heed the watch. Heed the warning and just feel lucky, I suppose, if nothing happens to you.
I think living in this area, everyone should take it very seriously. We've seen what tornadoes can do and the devastation it can cause, so I think definitely.
Not to frighten, just to forewarn, because the weather is out there, and I would just halt what you're doing right now and tune us in. Just stop. We have other news going on at this hour. Chatham County authorities are wrapping up an undercover drug operation that has left 29 people charged with almost 100 drug violations. Officers began the roundup shortly after midnight. This morning's arrests were the culmination of a 4-month undercover drug operation.
Wilson deputies are intensifying their search for a city businessman missing for nearly a week now. 35-year-old Pelon Wink Mercer hasn't been seen since early last Wednesday when he left his home in Wilson driving a maroon 1989 Jeep. Mercer is familiar to many in Wilson as the owner of Mercer's grocery store. Anyone having information about his departure is asked to call the Wilson County Sheriff's Department.
Bulldozers will try to plow a path through a remote Florida panhandle swamp where an Air Force cargo plane crashed. Rescue teams searching for survivors had to climb down ropes from hovering helicopters to reach the site last night. The plane carrying 8 people went down during a thunderstorm as it was about to land. Investigators in New York say one of the pilots involved in a fatal 2-plane collision Sunday was a student pilot wearing blinders. The planes glanced off each other and crashed, killing 5 people. The sole survivor is a 64-year-old man who was learning to fly by instruments only. Investigators say the man was wearing a visor that allowed him to see only the instruments, which is a common practice in flight training.
And we are not the only ones having bad weather. The fear of flooding is not over for Kentucky and western Tennessee residents. Both states are trying to get over last week's deluge that drove rivers out of their banks. Forecasters predict more rain today, and all of Kentucky has been under a flash flood watch. Louisiana has had its share of severe weather. A line of storms moved through the central part of that state yesterday, spawning tornadoes and drenching rains. Twisters downed power lines and damaged buildings and trailers. There have been no reports of serious injuries, though.
There'll be another storm soon in Louisiana. David Duke won't find his first week as a Louisiana legislator an easy one. One of his colleagues says he'll challenge Duke's seating on grounds he didn't live in his suburban New Orleans district for a year, which is required by law. The former Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard was elected to the seat despite the fact that his own Republican Party worked actively for his opponent. The Oliver North trial is drawing a crowd today. Dozens of people lined up outside the federal courthouse in Washington hoping to get seats. Linda Tyra reports on today's opening arguments.
3 weeks ago, Oliver North arrived for the first day of jury selection. Now, after a protracted battle over classified information, the jury is ready to hear the 12 counts against him, including lying to Congress and destroying government documents. In the court of public opinion, a CBS New York Times poll just released shows those surveyed are almost equally divided as to whether North should be tried or whether charges should be dropped. Of those who thought the charges should be dropped, more than half said it's because they believe North is taking the blame for others. 17% believe he's innocent, and 7% said government secrets will be revealed. When asked why the Justice Department is worried that vital secrets may be disclosed, most of those polled said they think the Justice Department wants to prevent embarrassment. The Justice Department maintains that without tight controls, certain classified information could become public, jeopardizing national security. Late last week, the Attorney General agreed to a procedure in which the independent counsel will act on behalf of the Justice Department, raising objections to certain classified information during the trial. This morning, the jury will be sworn in and will hear opening arguments. But even now, there's no telling what will happen, given all the unexpected twists and turns this case has already taken. Linda Tyrus, CBS News, Washington.
There is a new FBI report on John Tower, the Defense Secretary nominee. Leaders of the Senate Armed Services Committee aren't commenting on the latest report, and the White House is saying there is nothing in it to keep Tower from being confirmed as Defense Secretary. President Bush will be doing some public relations work today for his trillion-dollar budget. Bush will meet with congressional leaders from both parties as well as the heads of the budget-writing committees. The president hopes budget discussions will continue while he is on his 6-day trip to Asia. President Bush will be a main attraction in Japan this week while Bush is in Tokyo for the funeral of Emperor Hirohito. A parade of kings, presidents, and prime ministers will be lining up to speak with him. Jacqueline Adams reports the real draw, though, to Japan is the burial of the country's emperor.
The Japanese military is on the march in preparation for Friday's imperial funeral. With an estimated 150 foreign dignitaries attending, the police, too, are deploying their troops to make sure there's no repeat of the leftist rocket attack that marred the Tokyo Economic Summit 2.5 years ago.
I'm confident that there will be no such disturbances.
32,000 strong, the police are in the air, on the sea, and on land, checking every car, every house, every apartment within 2 miles of the funeral route. Japanese authorities have even closed the airports to all but ticketed passengers to reduce the risk of terrorist attacks. There have been some complaints that the police are using arrogant and heavy-handed tactics, but most Japanese hope the police will lighten up once the funeral concludes on Friday and the foreign leaders go home. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News, Tokyo.
Severe, potentially dangerous weather situation in our state at this hour. We'll have the latest for you when we come back.
Give me the softer side of nature. Help me bring it home. Give me all that natural softness. Give me nature's own. Nature's Own, a line of delicious wheat breads that are naturally wholesome and naturally soft. Give me the softer side of nature. Give me Nature's Own. Made by the Flowers family.
What gives you lots of hot water, the lowest cost way?
Nothing does it like gas.
What lets you wash for less money to save every day?
Nothing does it like gas.
What heats water so efficiently it's half the cost of electricity?
Nothing does it, no, nothing does it like gas. For hot water, for cooking, home heating, or drying. Nothing does it, no, nothing does it like gas.
America's best energy value.
The news about Jim Dandy's new improved taste is really getting around. Dogs love its crunchy beef and chicken flavored kibbles. In fact, if your dog doesn't love Jim Dandy's new taste, we'll give you double your money back.
Double my money back?
The richer, meatier flavor of Jim Dandy Classic Dinner. The new taste your dog is guaranteed to love.
Otis D. Wadford, who's been convicted of drunken driving at least 34 times, appears in Durham District Court today to face his 35th charge. Durham police charged Wadford on December 17th with driving while impaired. He was convicted last month in Harnett County of DWI. He is presently serving a 7-year prison sentence.
I'll tell you, we've had a storm system that blew up and is actually roaring through here.
It is. You know, we talked about this possibility yesterday, but it's a little bit surprising that it got here this early, and it certainly is in progress at the moment. We will have a complete summary of the watch area, all the current warnings, the radar, the whole gamut in just a minute.
I'm Saul Fessman, president of Queen City Home Healthcare. I'd like to tell you about a medical product that's very effective and may be at no cost to you. This is the lift and recline chair. It is being used by thousands of people who suffer from severe arthritis as a form of treatment in their homes. Best of all, if you qualify, you could receive this chair at no cost. Here's how. You must have a qualifying condition such as severe arthritis or other diseases which make the chair a medically necessary treatment. You must be enrolled in Medicare Part B and have a Medicare co-insurance policy which covers the Medicare deductible and co-payment for this type of equipment. Many people suffer from arthritis and cannot get up from a seated position. This chair will give them the freedom to get around and help them avoid falls and injuries. So if you're a Medicare recipient and meet the previous conditions, you can get this lift chair delivered to your door at no cost. Call now, 1-800-950-9500.
Queen City is commended by the Arthritis Foundation.
Look who's shopping at Food Lion.
When I come home to North Carolina, I try to relax, shoot a few hoops with my friends, and enjoy a nice, cold Coca-Cola Classic. And there's no better place to buy Coke than at Food Lion. With Food Lion's extra low prices, anyone can save money on their total food bill. Like they say, it's not how much you make, it's how much you save. Now this could be a three-pointer. So pick up some Coke and shop at Food Lion. And tell them Michael sent you.
Hi, I'm Doug Harrell. I've been telling you about the consolidated phone book and its advantages over other phone books. Now I'd like to tell you about a revolutionary new concept from Consolidated Directories, phone books that talk. We call it the Consolidated Connection. By simply calling the Consolidated Connection and entering a 4-digit code, you can get information on news, sports, horoscopes, soap opera updates, and much more. It's easy and it's free. To find out more about the Consolidated Connection, call us today.
Okay, we're back. What I want to do here is talk about the tornado watch area and then go down each current warning one by one and show you where things stand on the radar. This is a tornado watch indicating tornado potential until 4 this afternoon. There's Wake County. It includes all the triangle area, all the way back to around Asheboro, and basically points east. Now, for the immediate future, there is no threat of severe weather west of the initial line. Now, later this afternoon and this evening, there is the risk, and only a risk, that some of this could regenerate. The immediate future is what we're going to try to deal with here. I want to go back and take each warning that is in effect right now, take a look at the radar, and give you an update as to where that particular county stands. Now, a tornado warning was issued for Cumberland County based on an alleged report of a tornado near the Cape Fear Valley Medical Center. It appears like that threat is over as the main line of thunderstorms has shifted eastward out of Cumberland County, so that situation improving. A severe thunderstorm warning was in effect for Franklin and Vance County until 12:45. The line is about to move out of Franklin County. That's right here. It's already out of Vance, so for most of you folks, you're in good shape. A severe thunderstorm warning was in effect for Mecklenburg and Brunswick County in Virginia up in here. The line beginning to move out of Mecklenburg County. Brunswick, still take it easy for another half hour or an hour. A severe thunderstorm warning in Warren County until 12:45. The line now smack dab on the top of Warrenton and heading eastward, but I would say within 15 to 20 minutes the threat of severe weather will be over there. A tornado warning in effect for Johnston County based on damage reports at Benson earlier this afternoon. There's the line. Within another 10 minutes, the line will be out of Johnston County. Most of you will be in good shape if you've survived it to this point. A tornado warning in effect for Nash and Wilson County until 1 this afternoon. That definitely has to be taken seriously because the line is just now moving into extreme western Wilson County, southwestern Nash County. Within an hour, it'll be moving out of your county. It's moving at 50 miles per hour, but again, Nash and Wilson County definitely be on the lookout for the possibility of severe weather. Tornado warning in effect for Wayne County until 1 this afternoon. It is not to Goldsboro yet. There's the line. It'll be there within about 10 or 15 minutes. And so, again, take that possibility very seriously. And the other one that we have here is Duplin and Sampson County. Severe thunderstorm warning until 1 o'clock. There is Sampson County. There is Duplin County. Definitely be aware of that. Now, do we have another one here that has just come over? And, again, this is a tornado warning until Wayne County. That's the one that we just told you about. And, again, there's Goldsboro. Now, we have a new radar update coming over right now. You can see it progressing down the screen. So let's take a close watch here once it clears the screen. and see how far we've gone. This thing is moving at a breakneck pace. At 10:30 this morning, it was back here in western Chatham County, so that's how quickly it's moving. All right, that line is smack dab on Goldsboro right now, so the greatest threat of severe weather in the Goldsboro area will be during the next 10 or 15 minutes. It is just about to smack into the city of Wilson. It is about halfway through Nash County, and the main part of the line is now east of Warrenton, so the threat of severe weather in Warrenton appears to be diminishing greatly. Now, there is still rain back here, and the atmosphere is still rather moist and unstable until a cold front gets through here late tonight. There may be, and I emphasize the word may, be some regeneration of thunderstorm activity back to the west of this line. But for the next hour or so, the greatest threat of damaging thunderstorms and or tornadoes is from the position of this line eastward. That would include areas like Halifax, Roanoke Rapids, Enfield, down toward Rocky Mount, Wilson, Goldsboro, down toward Kenansville, Kinston. Those are the areas during the next hour or so that you'll want to watch the closest. To the west of that line, just some locally heavy rains, but no severe weather, at least for the next couple of hours. So again, recounting, several warnings are up. The only tornado warnings in effect right now, Cumberland County, we think the threat of severe weather is over there, at least for the immediate future. Johnston County until 1, it's almost out of Johnston County. Nash and Wilson and Wayne County, those are the ones you want to take the most seriously during the next 30 minutes to an hour. Of course, we'll be here. Bill Schmidt and I are here. Bob DeBartolome coming in this afternoon. We'll be here throughout until the weather is no longer a threat. Denise and John, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Greg. And we do have a report. We do want to bring you up to date on injuries. I know that Michael Brown mentioned that there were some injuries possibly in Moore County. We do have an update now that says that 4 people were injured and taken to the Moore County Hospital. It's actually the Moore Regional Hospital. Those people will probably be treated and released. So no serious injuries there.
And another note that always strikes fear, we reported about the roof being ripped off of an elementary school down in Anson County. We're glad to report, relieved to report, there were 300 kids in that school. They've all gone home. No injuries. So far, so good.
Good
Well, that's
news.
great.
And I know that, speaking of the weather, earlier this year we were very worried about our peach crop because we had warm weather, all the buds came out, and then we had severe cold weather, and then that would freeze them. And Ray says that he has an update on that. What?
Well, yes. They've lost about 25% of the buds in the peach crop, but they are still looking for a bumper crop if we don't have severe weather between now and April the 1st. And by severe weather, they mean extremely cold, freezing weather. A good crop of peaches can be produced with only 10% of the buds surviving. So losing 25% with 75% still there is not that much of a problem. Now, the plant beds have been moving along very rapidly, and they are quickly outstripping the time that they would normally be transplanted. So there'll be a lot of mowing of plant beds. We picked up this information at the Tobacco Marketing Symposiums continuing at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina today, where they're talking about improvements in marketing that could benefit the entire industry. I do have here with me some Florida grapefruit, and these are the Florida Big Reds, and they are just as sweet as oranges. They're in for just a very short period of time, available at the farmer's market. I thought I'd alert people to it. They're really good. Let's take a quick glance at what's been happening at the Chicago Board of Trade today. Wheat at $4.22 1/4 was off 2 1/4 today at noon. Corn at $2.68 3/4, off 1. Oats at $2.07, up 1 1/4, while soybeans dropped 4 1/2 at $7.41 1/2. December cotton at $59.45 is up 1.48. March cotton at $58.90 was up 1.87. The hog prices in the Tar Heel State were steady to $1 higher, and the Kinston Group of Markets reports 39, Clinton Group at 39, Wilson 38.75. The sows in the Tar Heel State were 32 at Fayetteville, Wallace 33, 35 at Spivey's Corner, and 35 at Roland. From Siler City, there were no M1 and large 400 to 500 pound steers offered. However, in the heifer category, there were a few 76 to 77. The final Stabilization Corporation meeting will be held at 2 o'clock Thursday in South Hill, Virginia.
All right. Thank you, Ray. And we'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
These pictures rekindle warm memories of sailing the coastal waters of North Carolina. Its priceless heritage is woven of the water, the boats, the fish, and the birds, of a way of life and of history. These are irreplaceable treasures that one day may only be enjoyed by doing just this, looking at pictures in a book. Don't lose our rivers, sounds, and beaches to pollution. Become informed. Become involved.
At first, the pull of the alcohol, cocaine, or other drugs is so gentle you hardly notice you're falling. But each day you fall faster and farther, frightened and alone. And the end of the fall may look like the end of hope. Yet at a warm and special place called Oakley at Durham, the lowest bottom becomes the beginning of a new life. You can begin your new life today. For you or someone close to you, new life begins with a phone call to Oakley at Durham. Most medical insurance applies.
We're going to join Carol Sparks now with a live report on an area that has seen this kind of damage. In fact, they saw it not long ago. Carol, tell us where you are right now, please.
Well, John, I'm at the Litchfield Apartments in North Raleigh. As you can see, some large pine trees were uprooted by the storm, but folks here are very happy. At least this was just nothing compared to what they went through 3 months ago. This storm seemed to just move very quickly through Wake County. We have some reports of large trees down like you're seeing here, some limbs and trees that fell on roofs. But overall, John, it looks like the folks here, at least this time, got off quite easy, and we're certainly happy to report that.
All right, that is good news. Thank you very much, Carol. We would like to make mention, too, that we have several crews in several counties right now covering this severe storm and thunder warning, and we will basically be bringing you the latest information at 6 o'clock tonight and, of course, at 5:30. More on the 5:30 news. One of the major problems the nation faces with is the homeless. Officials in Rocky Mount hope they've come up with a way to cope with the problem. Coming up on tonight's 5:30 First News, we'll tell you about that story. And many children have dreams of becoming famous singers or dancers. That's the topic of tonight's Family Focus. And Bill Leslie takes us to the road with his Tar Heel Traveler. All this and latest weather coming your way after the Cosby Show at 5:30 First News. And, of course, we'll have the latest on the weather, and I think that's probably what's on everyone's mind today. And Greg Fischel has been doing a very good job of tracking the severe weather, and we're going to go to him now and find out more about it.
I'm trying to keep up with it. I'll tell you, sometimes Mother Nature moves things along a little too quickly, but here is the latest radar picture, and again, this line was here at 10:45, and within less than 2 hours, it has almost crossed the entire viewing area. The greatest threat of severe weather, according to what radar is showing right now, would be in Franklin County, down to Nash County, the line on Goldsboro, and then finally down to the south. It appears to be east of Clinton now as well, and continues to head east and northeast at about 50 miles per hour. The entire area is still under a tornado watch until 4, but in the immediate future, the best threat of severe weather will be from this line eastward toward the coast. Additional thunderstorms could form later this afternoon and this evening, creating a severe weather threat, but not in the immediate future. For most of us this afternoon, it'll simply be occasional rain, some of it heavy, maybe an embedded thunderstorm here and there, but this is the area we need to watch. This is amazing. I've never seen the radar update so many times while we've been on the air, but you can see it doing that, and look how quickly it's moving. I mean, this is just a few minutes ago. That's how quickly the line has moved. It is now more than halfway across Franklin County. These are some real strong cells moving into Halifax County now, so you could conceivably have some warnings being issued for there within a few minutes. We don't know, but that is a possibility. Very strong activity now. You see the red in there? Those are level 5s. There's only a 1 to 6 scale on the radar, so that's a level 5 showing up just to the north and east of Wilson. Very strong there. It has now passed Goldsboro. Heavy rain in Goldsboro, but the threat of severe weather has now shifted east of the city itself. So again, from Wayne County up across Wilson, Nash, and into western Halifax County, that's the area we'll be watching the most closely over the course of the next half hour to an hour. Again, several warnings in effect, and if any more are issued, we'll be sure to pass that along to you. Back to you, Denise and John.
I haven't seen that kind of radar screen since I left the tornado belt. That's impressive. Very impressive.
And Greg was saying, too, that hopefully this storm is the last of it, and we will keep you up to date throughout the afternoon. We do hope that you will stay tuned for the latest tornado updates. Thank you for joining us. Have a good afternoon.
Be careful.
This is my bread? No way.
You're wrong. We're right. Arnold Bakery Lights.
I don't believe you. That's ridiculous.
At Arnold's Bakery, we don't bake like bread like everybody else. Our 5 bakery flavors are so delicious, you won't believe they're light.
I know.